Hi, and welcome to episode number 15 of Get Involved Pittsburgh here on PCTV 21 and 47 in the city of Pittsburgh. My name is Tom Baker, and I'm proud to be your host of the Jefferson Award-winning Get Involved Pittsburgh on PCTV. We've got a great lineup here for episode 15 today of our television show. We really hope that you enjoy it. We have a lot of different community leaders that are going to be sharing with us on this episode. We're going to start with Ken Soliday from the Y in just a minute. I want to give you a quick update, though, on what's going on with Get Involved. We just had our 4th annual Pittsburgh Service Summit on February 26th. It was a great event. We had hundreds of people out at Carlow University for the event again this year. Coming up actually on April 4th, we're going to be in Washington, D.C. for our first ever D.C. Service Summit. And later in the year, we'll be having our 3rd annual South Central PA Service Summit. So the Service Summits are going really well. We continue to host Power Hour every month over at the Shadow Lounge in East Liberty. And we also have the Morning Mix series. In 2013, we debuted 2 new co-hosts, Leanne Weiss and Liz Kennan, and Morning Mix is going great as well. The final program I wanted to mention from Get Involved is our Fast Track Community Leaders Program. We're going to be having our 4th cohort of young community leaders going through the program this spring and into the summer, and we've had 30 alums of the program going really well, teaching 20 and 30-somethings how to get a little bit more entrenched and make more of a difference and handprint in the community. Things are going really well on Get Involved perspective. If you ever want to learn more about Get Involved, please check out getinvolvedinc.org. That's our website. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter. A lot of positive things going on. Very happy to be the volunteer founder and chief program officer of Get Involved. Absolutely love the team that we work with. We have a great board, great young professional board, and we get to do a lot of good work in the community, like hosting Get Involved Pittsburgh on PCTV 21. So I want to tell you a little bit about our guest today. Ken Soliday is going to kick us off in just a minute. He's the district vice president with the Y. We have Susan Rohm and Bill Snyder from North Hills Community Outreach, one of the best managed and most impactful community organizations here in Western Pennsylvania. We've got Lee and Jenna from Thread International. They'll be sharing a little bit later in the show. And also we have Rhonda Oliphant from Leadership Pittsburgh, Inc. So it should be a great episode number 15. In our final segment today, we're going to learn about North Hills Community Outreach. And we've got some of our great leadership team here from NHCO. Bill Snyder is the president of the board of NHCO. And Susan Rohm is the assistant executive director for NHCO. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We're happy to be here.
All right, great. Well, I mentioned in one of our earlier segments that NHCO is the reigning, I believe, Wishart Award winner. So, Susan, if you can tell us a little bit about the Wishart Award and what that meant to the organization.
Sure. The Alfred W. Wishart Award is for management excellence of a nonprofit in the Pittsburgh area, and so we were the proud winners last year.
So proud. I mean, NHCO, it's kind of like the Oscars for nonprofit management. So it just shows that Susan and Faye and the whole team at NHCO run a great team. So, Bill, maybe you can tell us a little bit about NHCO and how you first got involved.
Sure. Actually, it was probably like 2005, 2006, and I was involved in a volunteer event for North Hills Community Outreach, and I thought that it did a great job. It was helping people. And took the opportunity. I wanted to get more involved in the community, so I inquired as to how I could play a bigger role in North Hills Community Outreach. And they had a great system for bringing on volunteers, volunteer training, get to understand what's happening at NHCO. And I joined a committee of the board. Then I joined the board a year later, and I've been on the board about 6 years, and very fortunate to be the president of the board today.
Yeah, I think a lot of people might aspire. You know, for you, Bill, you were a student government president in college, and now you're a board president. So tell us a little bit about how that transition. A big goal of Get Involved is to make sure that students keep that momentum after school. How have you stayed involved in your young professional and professional life?
That's a good question. I think it's just looking for opportunities and trying to help people, and really, as you said, get involved.
Right.
And ask questions and participate. And I think when you can ask questions and participate, people understand that you want to take on a leadership role, and those opportunities come. Right. So it's really just about listening and participating and being aware of what's around you and where help is needed.
Are there any lessons that you learned maybe in college as a student body president that you now, as a board president, as a community leader, anything that you learned in college that you still utilize, years later?
I think the biggest thing is just listening to people and just thinking, how can I help? How can I get involved? And be willing to do the hard thing.
Right.
That sometimes the easy thing is not to get involved,
right,
or to not go that extra step. But I find that when you do the hard thing, it's better all the way around, and you feel a lot better afterwards as well.
That's great. And we both had the same, I've said this story many times in the studio today, but we had the same advisor in college. When you were student body president, when I was student body president, Dr. Bob Thomas was our advisor, just an amazing man.
It's an amazing coincidence.
It is a weird
small world.
It is a small world, different colleges, but same advisor,
Yes,
and great
yes.
guy. Susan, how did you end up at NHCO?
I actually started with the agency about 8 years ago. As you know, it is an interfaith organization that addresses the needs of people in crisis, hardship, and poverty. And we are a very volunteer-driven agency. We would not be able to do what we do without our volunteers. And so, for example, last year we had something like 44,000 volunteer hours given to our agency to help us do our programs and services. And this actually equates to about 20 full-time employees as far as all of the volunteer support that we get. So
you said 44,000 hours.
Yep, 44,000 hours.
And how does NHCO attract volunteers to get involved with the organization?
We recruit volunteers through a lot of different avenues. We have a newsletter, we have a website, we have Facebook, we have Twitter. Probably one of the best ways that folks hear about us, is particularly about our volunteer opportunities, is through word of mouth, through other folks that are already volunteering with NHCO and who are having a good experience and realizing that they're really making a difference.
That's great. And can you tell us just a little bit about the programming? I know there's actually a community auto, there's a food pantry, there's a lot of things that NHCO does. Can you just go over the programming a little bit?
We have a lot of different programs. We have 2 food pantries. We have so many. I am just going to take a look here. We do have 2 food pantries. For the past couple of years, we've been fortunate to have we've developed an organic community garden that now grows fresh vegetables for our food pantry families as a supplement to them. So we're very proud of that. That's in the Bellevue area. We also have emergency financial assistance for folks that may need it, utility help, employment services.
Ask a lawyer, right? That's a program.
That's right, legal consultation. So we have volunteer attorneys that give time to us and help some of our families that need help with some legal questions that they might have. And we also have our community auto program, which is also very unique.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people, when they hear about community auto, they're really interested about it. It sounds a little bit different.
Sure.
Can you tell us a little bit just about what community auto is and how it ended up being part of NHCO? Because that's still a pretty new occurrence.
Sure. Community auto is actually a nonprofit car dealership. So we are an actual car dealership.
That's pretty cool, right?
The nonprofit part is a little bit of the oxymoron there, but what we do is we accept donated vehicles from the community, and that those that we are able to, we have them repaired and inspected, and then we sell them to low-income workers who qualify for the program so that they have transportation to and from work. Now, we sometimes would get donated vehicles that perhaps are not a good match for some of our families that need them. So in those instances, those particular vehicles will go to either auction or scrap, and then the proceeds from those sales will go into repairing and inspecting cars that are really good cars for our families to have.
Great. And I think when people hear NHCO, they're thinking North Hills, but NHCO, North Hills Community Outreach, actually spans a huge, region within Greater Pittsburgh. What all does it cover?
Well, we primarily our services are in the North Hills of Allegheny County. However, we do have programs and services that cover the entire county, and a few of them even go beyond those borders.
That's great.
So yes.
And in general, how many? You said 44,000 volunteers. How many families? How many children? Who's helped by the program every year?
Well, in our fiscal year ending 2012. North Hills Community Outreach helped 6,000 families.
That's great.
Which is an incredible amount of assistance provided through all the programs that Susan shared with you a few moments ago.
That's great. Now, I know, Bill, in your life, you're the CFO of Plextronics. Susan, you're the Assistant Executive Director of NHCO. For those of you that are watching the show that might be interested in a career in either what you're doing, I'd be curious to know kind of what you enjoy about your job in the nonprofit world, in the for-profit world. What are some of your favorite things about the work that you get to do? Susan, we'll start with you. What's kind of neat about, for somebody that's watching, they're in high school, they're in college, they're in grad school, they're thinking, nonprofit job, that sounds kind of cool. How did you, what do you enjoy about it?
I've actually always been involved for the most part with nonprofits in my working career. I did have a stint for a while with doing some teaching, but I've pretty much been with nonprofits. One of the things that's really cool and exciting about North Hills Community Outreach is that we've become involved with a lot of new programs over the years. So that's really very interesting and exciting for us to be able to branch out and do some different things to help the folks that need the help, like our community garden, like our community auto program, our new Work Able employment program that we've just become involved with. So there's always a lot of new ways and new strategies to help those who need the help, to help our neighbors.
And working for a nonprofit, you still actually receive a paycheck every other Friday, right? I mean,
yes.
Yeah, it's amazing. I tell students this all the time. You can actually do good for a living, and it's still, it's a career. It's really great. So, Bill, tell us a little bit about your work life. So you're the CFO of Plextronics. How did you kind of get into that line of work?
Yeah, so I'm Chief Financial Officer of Plextronics. I'm also responsible for corporate services, which includes HR, IT, intellectual property. And I've been there a little over a year. Prior to that, I spent about 15 years at Medrad, which is a company founded here in Pittsburgh. Plextronics was founded in Pittsburgh. It's a spin out of CMU about 10 years ago. We're working on advanced materials, neat high-tech things for the future, making things happen. But there's a lot of for me, there's commonality between the not-for-profit world and what I do in the for-profit world. That's about helping people.
Right, absolutely.
My group, we're corporate services, HR, IT, finance. We're looking to help our internal customers, our fellow employees, help our end customers.
Right.
So really it's about, people helping people in the for-profit world, and that's also our slogan at North Hills Community Outreach, absolutely. People helping people.
It's a great slogan, right? Absolutely.
Yes.
Two people that help a lot of people, I think, are Lorna, from your perspective, Bill, I'm going to go this way, and Faye, from your perspective, Susan, our executive director, and also the former board president before you, Bill. What makes a great nonprofit leader, either from a staff perspective or a volunteer's perspective as a board? What do you see in maybe some of your predecessors, your colleagues, that you think really makes a dynamic, great nonprofit leader? For you, Bill, for some of the colleagues that you look into, what really makes them terrific?
Once again, I think it's getting involved. We talked about it before. Getting involved, willing to go that extra step. A good listener, and somebody that can step back and understand that the staff of that organization, they're in charge. They have a job to do. As a leader of a board, we're there to offer guidance, support, leadership, of course, ideas, but really to support that staff and give them ideas and encouragement as they lead the volunteers and the organization that helps the client. So I look to the past presidents of North Hills Community Outreach, and I'm very impressed by the folks, and they're also the involvement continues after they become president and they join the board in different capacities. So it's really about listening and staying involved and supporting people.
That's great. I would agree, absolutely. Susan, how about for you? Faye Morgan, again, the reigning Wishart Award winner. I always tell my colleagues, I think Faye is just dynamite. I think she's absolutely one of the best. She's gone to Harvard to study nonprofit management. She's just fantastic. For you, do you pick up things every day working with Faye?
By all means, yeah. It's a real pleasure working with her, and I think one of the important things that she brings to the organization, and I think that it's become a part of everybody there, is to have a vision, to really have a vision of where we are going and how are we going to get there, and realizing how important it is to collaborate with partners and to work on solving a lot of things together. We have a lot of new initiatives that we're involved with where we're partnering with other agencies so that we don't have the duplication, so that we're working together, so that we're not reinventing the wheel a lot of times. So I think those are some really important things going forward with limited resources to be able to do that and to continue to make a difference.
That's great. One of the big things that was accomplished last year in 2012 was actually the 25th birthday of, or anniversary, I should say, not birthday, but it was kind of like a birthday party at the Lamont there on Mount Washington. Had a great time emceeing the event that night. It was just amazing. Hundreds of people out to celebrate NHCO and what's been achieved in the first 25 years. What do the two of you see for the next 25 years of NHCO as the organization kind of moves forward?
Well, I see a continuation of the past 25 years. I think it's about, as we've talked about already, people helping people. It's truly a team effort at North Hills Community Outreach. I don't see anything changing from that. The staff, the volunteers, working with our clients, and the board, everybody working together to make great things happen. And I think that's going to continue well into the next 25 years. And one thing I'd like to see, and we talk about it at North Hills Community Outreach, is really increasing visibility for NHCO. We appreciate the opportunity to come here today to share our message, because while we do a lot and we have a lot of people helping us, there's opportunity. There's opportunity to expand. There's opportunity to do more, and that's that's the one thing I could see, changing in the next 25 years.
I can see why you're board president. That's a very good answer. Right? That's great. Yeah, absolutely. So keep the momentum going, keep doing more, and making sure that the visibility people know about NHCO, not just in the North Hills, but all over the region, really. Sure. How about for you, Susan? Next 25 years?
I would say I would ditto what Bill said. That all sounded great. One has to always be thinking about building the capacity of the organization through volunteer recruitment, volunteer development, through getting more resources. So all of those things are very important to continue on the mission that we have right now, and also to be able to continue in the future. So those things are really very important to always be thinking about and concentrating on.
That's great. Well, Susan and Bill, I know our communications director, Jen Kissel's in the studio with us here today. We'd be missed if we didn't mention how do we keep in touch with NHCO? What's the website, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff? How can people keep in touch with NHCO moving forward?
Sure. Well, they can find us at nhco.org. They can like us on Facebook, right. North Hills Community Outreach. They can find us on Twitter. We have 3 Twitter accounts, one for our community auto program, our garden, and for North Hills Community Outreach.
NHCO Helps, I think, is the
NHCO Helps.
Newsletters.
Call any one of our offices. We are located in offices in Allison Park, Millville, and in the North Boroughs area. Our community auto office is up in the Wexford area, and we also have an office in O'Hara Township.
Great. All right. Well, Susan and Bill, thank you so much for being on episode number 15 of Get Involved Pittsburgh. Great job. Thank you,
Tom.
Thank you for keep up the good work with NHCO and all that you're doing.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
great.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay. Well, thanks, Susan. That was Susan and Bill. Thank you very much for being here to share about NHCO. In episode 15, we've learned a lot about the YMCA, Thread International, and North Hills Community Outreach. I hope you learned some new things. Hope that you got inspired. We had an event earlier this year, actually on New Year's Day. It was our New Year's Day goal-setting party. No matter what day of the year, though, it is, I'm a big believer in goal-setting, making sure that you're writing down what you want to do, what you want to accomplish. If you don't write it down, if you don't share it with other people, it's not going to happen. So we actually had an event on New Year's Day. It was a lot of fun. We had it over in Lawrenceville, and we had about 30 people from the community come together to share their goals, to write it down. We had kind of dream boards, goal boards, where we broke it down into different categories. I would ask all of you watching at home or on the internet now to share some goals, to set some goals, share them with your loved ones. I set at least 25 goals every year on January 1st. 5 are related to my work at Big Brothers Big Sisters. 5 are related to my fitness life. 5 are related to my political work. 5 are community work. And then 5 are related to Get Involved. And it really keeps me motivated. It keeps me inspired. One thing, though, that I make sure to do after I set those goals is that I share them with people. So my wife might even be in the room next to me. I still email them to her. I send them to my mom, to our team with Get Involved, with some of my colleagues at Big Brothers Big Sisters. I would encourage all of you watching at home or online, set those goals, write them down, and then share them with your loved ones. Make sure that they're your accountability partner. So I hope you've learned something through Get Involved, episode number 15. On episode 16, we're going to have a special episode about Big Brothers Big Sisters record-breaking year. The agency served 1,220 children in 2012. It was just a great year. Was named National Agency of the Year. So we're going to have some of our volunteers from Big Brothers Big Sisters on episode number 16 of Get Involved Pittsburgh. We're going to have Mandy Sable, Mark Bazilla, Steph Hart, Trisha Hyatt, and Eddie Barry. I think you'll enjoy learning from them. But again, Bill, Susan, Lee, Jenna, everyone that was involved in episode number 15 of Get Involved Pittsburgh. Hope you enjoyed it. Our website is getinvolvedinc.org. Thanks for tuning in for episode number 15 of Get Involved Pittsburgh.